Okay guys, the next step on the tranny job is to put her in the tub buggy and try her out. Boy, the tub buggy sure didn't get used much over the winter. You can see it's a lot easier to get to everything in here. No body and stuff, so that shouldn't be a big deal. Throw that baby in tomorrow and take this one out. This is a good transmission here. I was trying to think if it had the no, it's got the double side covers. Yeah, this one has the big pinion nut too. I've done some things to this tranny. It's a good one. But I need to test out my project tranny. I gotta follow through on it. I just can't leave it the way it is. So I got some cheap gear lube, some 80-90, and we'll put these seals in the side covers. I wanted to be able to feel that backlash. I don't know if you can. That's a lot less than there was before. That's feeling so good. And trying that aviation sealer instead of a gasket. The gasket that comes in that thing is very thin. It's almost transparent. So put our stub axles in, and I'll show you. That's good enough for now. I thought I'd briefly make a few comments on the seals. Now, the seals go in the side cover, and that's where your axles, your CV joint, connect to the axles inside the transmission. So the old ones here were they look like VW items, but the insides were so hard that they cracked. They're so old. But what I want you to look at in detail here is the fact that look at the lip around that spring. Look where it's grabbing the spring. I ran into the same problem. Here's the new one. See, it looks like there's more meat on this old one than there is on this new one. This new one is soft and pliable, true, and it doesn't say Volkswagen on it. It says NAKTC 35 15.5. I'm sure that's the size and stuff. But the new ones, I just had a miserable time with my swing axles getting those seals to. So what I've, as of lately, come to do is I pull out the spring, and if you look real good in the light, you'll see a little line. I can see it right there. I don't know if it shows up in the camera, if it's focusing good. What you do is you grab hold of it with your dry, bare hands and unscrew it. And you'll see that you have a male and a female side. What I've done, not even trying without a question, is I'm just nipping off about that much. Then you take your male and you screw it back in there. Okay? So now you got your continuous spring, and I'm having trouble with those things leaking. So you just put them back in position, and that, I don't know, that's what solved my problem before, and I'm just tired of dinking around with these things and finding out after you got it all together that you got a leak. Here's, take the other one, same thing. Find that little line. You'll see it if you look close. There's just a little irregularity there. And then I'm just gonna cut a little piece off and screw it back together. And that's all it takes, and that's the name of that tune. Now, when you put these in the side covers, for gosh sakes, you don't need any sealer. These things are neoprene. Look how much contact area that you got going around that thing. Just take your transmission oil and put some on the outside, coating on the outside with your finger and on the inside of the transmission, and pound it in, and you're done. Just, you can tap it in with a hammer. You can put a socket on top of it. I'm not sure which way I'm going to go. It just depends on how well it starts. So now when you get your clean these things up, and I just took some steel wool here and I got it nice and shiny and clean. Get all the signs of the old one off. You're going to see irregularities here. And if you can't feel it, if you got a shiny spot where the old seal was riding, if you can't feel it with your fingernail and it just looks polished, don't worry about it. It's fine. That'll happen too. Now, don't forget your rings. Your rings go in first, and then they go over the axle, and then the axle goes in behind it. So we'll go over to the transmission. We'll just put one in. Anytime you get into the transmission and you make changes, you're going to have some new surfaces, and they're going to get some. I'll just put some around the outside, and take your little spacer, drop that down in there, put your seal in place here. I got a big metric socket. Drive that baby home. You don't have to put it in that deep, for crying out loud. Just a little bit past flush. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. That's fine though. Didn't hurt a thing. Put a little lube on your surfaces here. Next comes your axle. And it looked like I wasn't going to have enough space for the snap ring, but it goes in there just fine. And it's probably a good idea to always, when you got a circlip or snap ring, to always just see if it'll move around in the groove. If it'll rotate in the groove and you've got the shoulder in, you're good to go. Okay. Alright. I'm going to take our outer seal, reuse those, and I'll tell you, we've really got off cheap on this rejuvenation here. Never got to use a lot of used stuff. I like that, especially when it's an experimental project. And so put a little oil in the next one. Make sure we're in view. Golly, never seems to be ready. Alright, drop our spacer in there. I'm going to smear that oil around there. Gonna put it on our new seal. Put that one in position. Yeah, it'll bottom out. Make sure you got it square so that it's not running an egg-shaped round pattern. Yeah, there. Seals on. Last little clip. I just used it and used my expansion tools. Oh, amazing how nothing works when you hit the R button. It was a beautiful day here today. I certainly didn't want to be in the garage working on this, but I want to get it done. I want to get this garage cleaned up. I got to get Bill his bus tranny back. We're going to take a look at that here next. Okay, our circuits look good. Make sure it's in. Give everything a spin. And probably a dandy old time to pour in the juice. We'll do it on the stand. I always hate to do it under the car.
Next step is swapping them out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subbing. EZGZ out.